Well, good morning. A happy holidays to everyone in the western part of the world, to everyone watching this at home. Hopefully, you've had a wonderful holiday. It's time for another magical edition of an On-Print Shop webinar with your host, Trent Namish. And we'll get started here in just a few minutes as we get moving through. We're seeing people starting to roll in. I see, Print Mark. I see Wayne Page. We're looking just at some names as people are starting to roll in. We'll give it a few minutes across the top of the hour. Or if you're with our good friends at OnPrint Shop World Headquarters, it'd be across the bottom of the hour in the IST time zone. But we will give it a few minutes talking about today. We've got a lot of great stuff that we're going to share through. And this is a huge topic. So we came up with this. And so Nimesh, our wonderful VP of sales and development, we started talking about this with our marketing team, and I'll give you the little banter of where we came up with this before we jump into all of it. Is, we had a great time at Printing United. This is where a lot of this topic came from. Listening to you, listening to owners, listening to operators, listening to people that are going, "Oh my gosh, the manual is killing me." And that's where a lot of this came from. So hopefully you'll be able to take away some stuff today. Yeah, we're going to reference OnPrintShop. We're going to talk about how customers are working in this realm. We're going to ask you questions from where you are in your process, and that's really what we're looking for. So this will be recorded. If you're watching this a little bit later, obviously you realize that, hey, we sent this recording out. But if you're in here and you want to go back and find more on certain topics, we'll have this recording out there for you as well. So I see 10:01. We're going to give it about another 30 seconds. So we're up to about a nice little group in through here. I see somebody's note taker. So for the note taker for Jace, make sure that's the new way of doing things is jumping in with your note taker to have them take the notes and then summarize it for you later. AI is a big topic of conversation that is going to continue to dominate, not just our industry, but the industry as a whole. I think 2026, already seeing some things with Printing United and the Printers Alliance coming up next year where they're going to be really focusing on AI. So this is going to be big, and it's all going to flow into how we're talking about on this particular topic. So with that, I say let's get started. So again, a very warm welcome, especially in a lot of places where it is cold this time of year. We're glad that you joined us here on our On-Print Shop webinar, where we're talking about from manual to modern and that print workflow makeover using automation. So when we talk about modernization, we're not talking about replacing people. We're not going to talk about replacing people in here anywhere. We're talking about ways to give you and your people more time back. So print shops today, that's the big thing. They're somewhere between analog habits, digital expectations. The AI buzzword keeps going around. But the goal today is going to be breaking down really what modernization looks like. And we're going to talk about it in practical terms. It's not real theory. We're a little bit of theory, but not true theory, but real workflow changes. And it's going to be starting small. It's fixing the steps that slow you down every single day. So we're not going to talk about how to go from 15 touch points. I actually have a customer that gave me one order entry that was 44 manual touch points.
Wow.
Yeah. We're not talking about how to take that to no touch points. We're talking about how to break that down. So taking 10 to 8, then 8 to 5, and then maybe 8 to 4. I mean, there's still touch points that are going to be in there. You have to load the printer. You have to move the substrates, you have to move the material around. There's some touch points, but we can start to make those where those are the things we're working on. So we'll walk through the industry. What are the pain points that we saw with NAPCO and at Printing United, and what automation really, really means. And so that's where we're going to get started. So I've spent the last year plus all over talking to print shops, going into print shops, and the one theme that keeps coming up is they're ready for simplification. Not like more software, not like more thing. It's just fewer steps in the process. How do we do that? So I've got my wonderful colleague, Namish Patel. He's our VP of Sales and Development. My name's Trent Foreman. I'm with OnPrintShop here in North America. And we've spent a lot of time, both at Printing United and just in general, talking with owners and operators. The industry is really trying to lean towards automation as a necessity, not as a luxury. This is, we're now talking about the fact that this has become the thing. Not just that, oh, it'd be nice if. No, it is a true fact and thing. So together, we're going to walk you through what real print shops are doing today. Practical steps to modernize your workflow, reduce those manual touch points. And we're grounding everything. We're taking all the data. I mean, this is all based in data. This is not just, there's a little bit of our opinions, but it's not all opinion. It's what's happening in the industry. So we'll map out the actual workflow, the path that a typical job takes, and then why all that friction starts to creep in. And then from there, we'll hit 3 big automation zones. We'll talk about pre-sales. We'll talk about production. We'll talk about post-production, pre-production. I mean, we'll hit it in a couple of different spots. So our goal really is to help you find your wins. It's small automations that unlock the bigger ones. Those are, and I can't take credit for that comment. That's a good friend of mine, Mark, over at with the Rico marketing team. He's and even several of those consultants. I know David Schwang talks about this. This is wonderful. It's the small automation wins. So what does that actually look like? Well, let's start out with the biggest concerns here in 2026. So every print shop I talk to has 3 realities. It's labor, it's turnaround time, and it's the pressure on margin. NABCO, we had a great breakfast with them at Printing United. They always kick it off well. That's where we got a lot of this data from, coming from the Insights Breakfast, the Trends at Insights Breakfast. They do a wonderful job. We want to give them all the credit for this. So their data lines up with what we're hearing in demos every day. Our entire OnPrintShop team, this is what we talk about. It's the bottleneck. It's not equipment. It's all grounded in workflow. You're not struggling because they don't have the printers. We've got wonderful technology. Technology is truly advanced in all areas, from inkjet to digital cut sheet to white format to sublimation. It's all there. It's the cost of touching jobs too many times. And automation is not, again, we're not talking about cutting heads. We're talking about the survivability when hiring is tough, but expectations from customers keep rising. Obviously, the biggest concern, increasing sales, but those rising labor costs and trying to find the right people. I mean, there is that effects on tariffs. We've seen that, the costs, the supply chains, but utility and overhead, all of these are starting to roll in to say, we've got our people are good. It's hard to find good new people. How do we do more with what we have? Not necessarily do more with less. So the top priorities are really less about buying new machines, and they're more about improving the process. It's that productivity, ways to be more efficient company-wide on all aspects at all levels. Process automation, customer experience, online ordering have all started jumping to the top of these, reducing those touch points. How long does it take your CSR, your estimator, your frontline counter people to put in an order? Yes, we want to be able to get our customers to start doing that at their fingertips, but also if we can make that a little bit easier process. This means the industry signaling is very loud and clear. We can't scale manually anymore. The appetite for automation, again, we'd say it's not theoretical. It's becoming an operational requirement, and it's what we've got to be able to look at. And that's a huge big deal. And so we took what NABCO was talking about in capital investments, and this is where the data shows a shift in where owners are starting to put, where are you starting to put your dollars? What are you looking at coming up in 2026? So workflow improvement in software right now, they're right beside getting a new press, getting a new printer, getting new finishing equipment. Talking with one customer that is like, hey, we really want to do an operational reset. We need to make ourselves more efficient. The ROI on workflow tools becomes much faster than hardware because it starts to eliminate a lot of hidden cost. It's the rework, it's the mistakes, it's the slow intake, it's inconsistent quoting, it's getting things a little bit more on a standard forum. Streamline workflow increases the value of every piece of equipment as every piece of equipment that's behind it. So as you start to create those different little points of automation, your equipment becomes more valuable to you because now it can start to do more. So Nimish can jump in and talk about this just as well. Across every conversation at Printing United that we had, What are the things you talk about? Some of the things we heard from owners. One that I heard very consistently, and we talked about this with our team, is they would rather get something that saves me time rather than just not another set of features to have to learn. And you heard a lot of the same features or a lot of the same
Absolutely.
contexts, right?
Absolutely. So people were more focused on understanding their current processes, key customers, and where there are areas for improvement. So rather than creating so many like wish list or so many cool stuff, they're actually focusing on the fundamentals, like where are the gaps actually in the order processing and where there are options to improve those processes, as you very well mentioned.
Right. And owners are not necessarily just asking for another piece of
Oh,
software. They're looking for clarity. Like again, that number one, increasing productivity company wide. And that's not just in pre-flight or make ready or the workflow process. That's in things like accounting and invoicing and proofing and just marketing actions and content to be able to reach out and touch those customers and how they work. So it's the biggest hidden cost, I think, is inconsistency. Different people doing the same job. I mean, and you've seen that too.
also multiple entries, like as you mentioned, like people are having softwares. So the softwares are implemented in order to reduce the work, but like after some time they're realizing they have more piece of software, and then they have to do order entry from one to another, then one to another, and then it is again like multiple software entries, but it's a manual entry. So software should be automating versus it is creating more work of manual entries.
And I think a lot of that goes back into a hard look at your process and where you're kind of looking at things. And we'll talk about that. I guess I got another slide coming up. We want to go back and talk about that. But let's talk about the most desired capital investments in 2026. And again, I took away this slide. I was at the breakfast and I took away this extremely as important because this is what print shops want. It's not a Britney Spears song, but I mean, it's, what a shop wants. Well, it's to invest in that, what they can practically invest in. Well, let me rephrase that. What a shop wants to invest in and what they can practically really can invest in can be a little bit different. So automation, MIS, software systems, pre-flight, they appear on all the list. And that tells us that that is a core direction in which way you as owners and operators are starting to think. Modernization is not just a trend, it is becoming the competitive separator. Now we have wonderful fully automated customers. FireSprint, one of our wonderful customers who's been with us for over a decade. We love talking to them. They talk a lot about how they have truly really automated what's going on, and they were kind of ahead of that modernization trend. But it's talking on the small levels. The moment we're simplifying online ordering, proofing, approvals, and production handoff gives the shop that real advantage. And you talk about bindery and finishing systems, being able to go from your printer into your finishing AI applications. It's big. E-commerce solutions across wide format and apparel is the biggest two segments of the industry that we're talking to today. You can look across our entire OnPrintShop team, and everybody over the course of the week is doing 1 to 2 to 3 demos for someone from the sign wide format and from apparel, just saying, hey, I want to be able to have my customers find me, order, reorder, design, do all of that, in an easy format where they can touch it at their leisure. I could do an entire another webinar just about the convenience and ease of modern day buying habits. I mean, that's kind of the biggest thing in here. So let's talk about now the current level of automation. And this is where I go back and really look at. So from a commercial printer, from a wide format printer, we'll look at it on both ways. So clearly shops are in the very early stages of automation. I go back and talk about FireSprint. More in that mostly to fully automated, they'll tell you no one is going to be fully automated. There's still going to be touch points that you have to do in the process unless I've seen the robots there at Printing United, unless you just have a whole bunch of those, but you still have to load a printer, you still have to put paper in, there are some touch points, but those are the necessity touch points and where those go. So, it's rare, but there's room for huge gains. if you look at your process and realize that it takes 30 steps to get an order from a customer wants something through the process of pre-flight to proof to into automation and now go and touch it and all the way out to either delivery or dropping it off to UPS FedEx, and there's 30 touch points in there, that's a huge room for improvement. There's a big gap that's in there from even some automation or mostly manual all the way up to just mostly and some automated. So it really makes nice. We talk about data entry, we talk about approvals, we talk about ticket creation, file movement. Those are the biggest manual choke points that we have in all of this. So that's our goal today. And that's what we're going to kind of talk about as we transition here in the next couple of seconds to next slide, to really talk about what does all that look like? Where do those handoffs, where can you modernize? So let's really pay attention right now to wide format, because they're doing a lot of things manually. And that's where we want to find out a little bit from you. So it's not a great webinar without a poll, because we want to ask, audience participation is a big piece here. So let's launch. We've got a poll that we want to launch. We want to ask you the question of where you are in this process. So there's our, how automated is your current print workflow? Take a second. Take 2 seconds, take 5. I'll give you 10. Where are you in your current workflow? Are you manual? Are you partially automated, or do you feel like you're fully automated? If you're fully automated, we want you to tell us the secrets, because that's where everybody wants to, get. And I still say fully automated has a measure of touch points, but if I can take 30 down to 8, I think that's pretty fully automated, because again, we're not talking about how to get rid of people. We're talking about how to let your people do, much more with what's going on. And there's a second question. Don't forget, down at the bottom before you submit, there's question 1, question 2. And what area of your workflow causes the most manual workload today? And this is a big one. And I think you can check, any and all boxes that you can. If you can check all the boxes. That's what we want, that's where we're having this conversation on. So we'll give you a few minutes, and then we can close it up. Nimish, I think you're looking more at the back end than I am here as I'm presenting. You can tell, I think everybody can kind of see.
Yeah.
If everybody will respond, take that few minutes. I know the AI note takers can't really respond, but that's okay. We'll publish some results.
We are seeing people are submitting the responses.
Yay. Give you a few minutes on what that's going to look like.
A few seconds. And there are 2 questions, as Trent mentioned. So question number 1 and 2.
But I go back to, again, you really would be, you're probably not surprised at the results. And again, NAPCO does a wonderful job of talking to a wide variety of printers. And so the some automation, manual processes in many departments, but there's some, there's an automated order entry that could be from an e-commerce. There could be, you talk about a lot of our partners and in Focus moving into a pit stop for, automated pre-flight, Fiery with job flow being able to push and do make ready, the group from Ultimate Tech with imposition. So there's little pieces and parts, I think, that go into that some automation of things that can be doing manually. But, we want to move you, if you're in the all manual or the mostly manual, both in commercial and wide format, and we can get you in. Oh, we got it. So there we go. Yeah. There we go. First response. That's nice. How automated is your current pain point? A lot of people in partially, and that's what I think we were expecting to see, with a great number in manual. And again, we already kind of knew this, looking at the trends. That's going to be a big deal. And so, where is it coming from? Really, what I kind of figured: file handling, proofing, and approvals. That's a big deal. And there's a lot of great tools, not only with OnPrintShop, but partners we work with that can start to help this process a little bit. Order intake and estimation and pricing. That's, I think, a key that I hear across all of it. How can I, when we'll do this in another webinar as well, when we talk about web to print and, I've got web to print. Well, you're asking someone, hey, I'd like to make a request for this particular product. Now we've got to estimate, go back. I don't like, that's too high. How about this quantity? We'll come back and go back. But quick and easy pricing, quick and easy order, and have that order accuracy high. It's a big deal. delivery, invoicing, reporting. I like that. Production, scheduling, and tracking. So the three main areas, and I know we'll talk about that here as well in talking about order intake, estimation, pricing, and job ticketing, and then file handling. And I think that's where we go into looking at our next, what is a typical print order process. So let's walk through what happens when an order comes in the door or comes in via email or by phone call. Or, I mean, here's the other piece. A lot of this needs to also happen as you are engaging and you're out as an owner. You're going to be out in the public. You're at a football game. You're at a chamber event. You're at a business after hours. You're at just in your day-to-day world. You could be at Walmart or Target and you see your customer. That order can come from anywhere. So now we talk about where they are. So commercial, wide format apparel, 80% of the headaches come from the intake stage. You see a customer, you have a customer, the customer needs something. It's quotes, it's emails, it's phone calls, it's chasing files, it's chasing proofs. All that chaos can really happen right in through, let's just say, here. Before we get to printing and quality check and shipping and delivery, we got proposal, we've got job estimations, clients just asking, hey, how much is something? I saw them at the football game. I've had this actually happen to me at a football game, and someone that knew our print shop, that customer of ours was like, hey, I need some new banners. And great. Can you put that order in on your phone right then and there so it doesn't get lost? Or hey, tomorrow morning when I get back to the shop, or it could be Friday. Well, now you got to work on the weekend, or it'll be Monday before I can get to you. No. Let's put that order in right then and there with consistent pricing and consistent, an order entry process. So the workflow makeover really begins at the front door. It's fixing how jobs enter the system, not really just how they run through it. And this is, I know, where Nimish is going to be able to take this and kind of run with it so that we can talk about, yes, I've got a file in. Is the pricing correct? Is the estimate, is it an estimate or an order? Is the pricing consistent? Do I have to go back and sit and work it up manually? Or can I get a quick price that's an accurate price, put that order in, or send that customer the estimate, and then we'll work on the file and what needs to happen there. It could be just artwork on file. So I know, Nimish, you're going to flip this over now to you so that you can be able to take this and run with it, and I'll let you jump in and continue on here.
Thank you, Trent, and thanks everyone for sparing valuable time in today's webinar. So as Trent mentioned, there are a lot of processes within the order taking. So we have divided this into three major, basically. The process is one is a pre-sales automation. So everything what you do before actual sales happens. So you handle customer inquiries. You might have to start with artwork and proofing, and then you might have to start even order management. So these are all like pre-sales kind of activities. And then what are ways to automate that? So we'll also discuss couple of actual customers, how they've implemented, and then even certain actual showcasing how these kind of scenarios can be automated within OnPrintShop. And as Trent was showing that order processing slide, the majority of time goes into the pre-sales automation. Sometimes the research says almost 60 to 70% of orders you get have to be turned around within 3 working days. But then majority time 1 or 2 days just goes in order communication or giving quotations and then getting the file approval. So you only get maybe few hours in the production. So you're always running around completing the job. And then in that case, the actual time should go in the production quality check, but you're only getting, I guess, few percentage of time out of the whole process. So that 70% time which goes into those other processes, there is a very easy way to automate it. Then there is a production automation, and production automation is depends on the size of the print shops. Not necessarily that everybody should go into the same kind of automation. So depending on your size, depending on your equipment, depending on your number of people available in the, for example, production, you can decide how much automations could be done. But then as Trent was sharing, we there are a lot of softwares, good softwares out there with OnPrintShop. They're partner softwares we can integrate, and then end-to-end automation can also be achieved. So production, we are talking about once the order is confirmed, how do you guys manage those orders effectively? Then what are the different views which allows you to create a very clear view of how many jobs are active currently, which jobs should be in the priority, and then moving out of the production quickly. And then a lot of other third-party workflow automations, like I Stan mentioned, ultimate technologies, which allows you to impose. So if you do like a lot of digital printing, then you can impose those files, gang run them. In-shop automation is one of them. The switch is always like the most popular product in order to create those
Wonderful.
workflow if you have a lot of equipment. Yeah. And then basic like XML hot folders where you do not want to download the files. If you're getting like 20, 30 orders a day, then again, one has to go into a backend and then download the jobs and then putting into machine. That is also like taking 5-10 minutes. That also can be saved directly. File could be pushed into the XML hot folders. And then MIS is like a next level of automations, depending on your size, we can also think of. And then there are post-sales automation. So once we get the customer, then we have to do a lot of other processes like accounting. Then you might have a customer service management component of it, which you can also automate with the platform. Then there is a customer service and then a lot of other things like marketing automation to keep connecting with the customer. So there are a lot of tools available at there as well. So we'll start with like, what are the basic automations we can do with the pre-sales automation? And this is one of the major time-taking components for many of print companies when we discuss with them. So we are not talking about like that, okay, you need to have the most comprehensive kind of system and then most automated system, but a very simple system will allow you to automate these processes by 70%. And we have very good case studies also on our website, and we'll focus on that. So it's not like we'll be just showcasing that, okay, what can be done, but actual customer stories like, and then as Trent was showing that slide, one is a commercial printer, then what level of automation, and that 79% of commercial printers feel that there is a scope of automation. And that's what even the poll results came up with, that a lot of people feel that they're not fully automated yet. So Foxtrot printing, again, an SME print shop, commercial printer scenario, like they achieved like 50% enhanced workflow, 100% transparency in communication. So good results they have achieved. So first of all, what happened is like many of the print companies are, for example, when we talk about completely manual processes, so everything is like request a quote or everything is like call them, email them. So even if I need a small business card versus a most complicated product, maybe booklet, the only option I have is email or phone. So a lot of those processes can be automated. So one, OnPrintShop allows you to configure your public catalog site. Public catalog site is like normally, I guess 70% or 80% of whatever you do can be easily automated as a price calculator in your website. And the good part here, like this Foxtrot printing is also utilizing, is like, assume if I go into this booklet, then it's like I have different sizes I can select, and then quantity, paper, all the options, and customer gets the estimate away. But the same price calculator is now utilized by their internal team as well, because a lot of time maybe owner is not available. If customer calls an email, oh, I need a booklet, 500. So we have this option called share estimate. And this is one of the very appreciated feature where I can email this particular estimation link directly to the customer. So even this particular dummy site, our demo site, I just give you an example where whatever options customer have already asked, in matter of seconds, so I don't have to create any estimate or create an email. Instead of that, I can say, okay, sir, maybe I got an email, they're looking at maybe 1,000 brochure and those product is already available. I can directly click share product. And then from here itself, this unique link will be created and I can put the email ID of the customer. And what email they will get, that is a simple template. It's a very nice email. Even if you want to download the print estimate, then they can also get the print estimate like this. So in matter of second, all your standardized product, and OnPrintShop allows you to configure any simple product like a business card to a brochure, even a very complex product like booklets, where customers are able to select the size and then able to select the number of quantity and number of pages and all the options, and they get the estimate right away. So that is what is helping a lot of our customers. So one of our customers was sharing that every day he gets 30 email requests for estimation. Now those estimation could be simple product, could be the most complicated product. And now they have to email them back all 30 emails. Oh, your price is this, your price is this, your price is this. Next day, another 30 comes. So now you don't know how many, for example, quotes approved, how many customers didn't approve it, how many customers felt the pricing is high. So we also have those tracking in the back end, so that, okay, how many quotations we have sent, and we can also follow up with the customer. Now, a lot of print companies might say to us, oh, it's not everything what we do can be easily set up as a product. So we also have a custom quote to order flow. That is another process which will simplify your communication process. So a lot of time assume that any customers looking for certain product, but then they need certain custom, for example, options, they can go to the request a quote. So I can request a quote for any existing item, or I can request a quote, for example, if I feel that I need something very, very custom. So your 70% to 80% product can be set up as an online calculator. And then you can also create a category of custom projects, because we can also call it as a custom project. So custom projects are like different categories of the services which you do, which are not available as readily priced available product. So customer can come to the custom project and say, oh, wow, I need something maybe in the die cut and custom shape printing. And then you can personalize the form for each category, and you can allow customers to fill up a form. And this is one of the very good feature, because when you go into a website, wherever you see a request code, it's a very standardized form. Like always, all the forms are same. But here you can even personalize the form per category, because you don't want to collect same information for banner to the same information to a business card. So request a quote is just like a simple form. You get an email, still you have to call to the customer and say, oh, which size, which paper, what options. So the request a quote form should be clear for customers that, okay, if you are asking for a customized white format, then the form which want customer to input the details, it's very much customized. So for every category you create for custom projects, that form will have a personalized, for example, options. Now, once customers submit the custom quote, they also get a quote ID. So a lot of time you say, oh, we only do custom projects. Not every product we do can be estimated. Then you can also create custom projects for a lot of your products, and customer can submit the quote. And then it's not like we just send you an email. In the back end, you see that, okay, how many different quote requests you have. Even customer can see how many different quote requests they have placed within the system. So assume that as a customer, I logged in, it shows me that you have like 3 quotes going on. I requested a quote for very customized brochure, spot UV business card, and some of the quote are already converted into an order. Then it says quotation completed, certain quote I just demanded, but then never converted. Then it says quote canceled. So this is a customer view. But in the back end, you also have a completely centralized view where you can see every day what are the number of quotes which you have received and how many quotations are pending. That means customer already submitted, but we have not given the pricing yet. And another good part of the system, like what we are getting from the customer, like see, there's another success story is of like Print Charming. There is also like a small print company, and they have like converted like online sales go to have storefronts, then 50% faster processing in automated workflow. These guys are also doing like corporate sales, and they're also offering client portals. So here, like they have created variety of products and all. But like Firesprint, what Trent was mentioning. So Firesprint has a process. If customers are ordering online, then very good that because customer is able to order on their own. But if assume that customer is ordering via email or phone, still they are managing the orders from the backend. So those tools are also available in the backend. So it's not like that customer has to do all the activity, because you will have a mix of customers. Some customers still prefer emailing you, phoning you, calling you and say, oh, hi Trent, I need 1,000 brochures. You know that Trent can go online and order, but it's fine. Let Trent, for example, enjoy talking to you, and then you can place that order in the backend. But the best part,
yeah, personal touch.
Yeah, but the best part, because I'm adding an order for the Trent, rest of the activity still Trent has to do. So I can generate an order because he has requested maybe brochure, and then I input an order, and then I can say awaiting artwork. So two actions will be done by the system automatically. If I place an order from the back end, system will still trigger an email to the client. Your order is placed. Please go and upload your file here. Please submit your payment here. So even though I'm doing an order entry, the rest of the activity, like 80% of the activity, Trent has to do. even if it is a very customized job, then we also have this complete new price estimation engine where you can say like we have a variety of options. You can keep adding those options, paper type, size. So it is a completely customized, for example, kind of options. You can create your own library of the different types of papers and finishings, and then you can define, for example, what kind of size you want. So it's a completely custom size kind of calculator. So sometimes you show you the job is not defined, then based on the specific width, height, measurement, you calculate, and then you keep adding different options. For example, finishing options, if you have, maybe you have maybe different paper options, turnaround options, and you keep selecting all that, and then system will keep calculating, for example, the price. So you can, for example, define that how many quantity you need, and then whatever options and formulas which you have set, system will show you that, okay, what would be the cost of this particular item. If you have selected all the options right, it will also give you, for example, all different pricing available. So here, whatever options I'm selecting, it is just creating the price estimation here. And then I can maybe apply some markup and send to the customer. And if this product is already available, it's very simple. I can just select, okay, they need maybe a brochure, and the same price calculator what we available have in the front end will also display to the customer. So a lot of time this estimation process is simplified by the customer as well as for the backend team. So anywhere you get email, you get phone, you get, for example, walk-ins, this system will help you to automate the process. Even somebody says, oh, I want to place order, but just send me the quote first. You can also send them a quote. Same, what will happen eventually, like if your customers are ordering online or they are doing for the backend, system will also create collective, for example, order at one place. So here, for example, if somebody call me and say, oh, I did order before 3 months, in matter of second, I can go to the customer dashboard and can see how many orders, whether you have placed order from the back end or customer placed in the front end. This is automated. So this estimation process is there. Second is like artwork approval. So customer also upload a lot of artwork. So we're not talking about like, okay, customer will do online design. So there are two ways. Customer either say, oh, I want to hire a designing services, maybe, or even before even order starts, there are design starts, for example, in some of the cases. You might say, oh, we are going in exhibition, please design my brochure. Once brochure is designed, we'll order a print. So one, if customer has an upload, means they want to upload the file. In there also we have like upload file proofing. So you can set up this process where customer is able to upload, for example, a file for any product, but then we don't just take the file as it is. So for example, if I upload one of the brochure, and that brochure is like here, and then I already selected one particular size of a brochure, and many times customer feel that, okay, whatever file I have prepared is appropriate to the size, but then it's not the case. You guys know it. So we make sure that when customer upload their file, if they're uploading multi-page file, system will also show them multi-page file. But in this file, I have 2 pages separate, but now I have uploaded 2 pages. And before I go to checkout, we show them that, okay, the file which you have prepared versus the size you have selected is not appropriate. So this is 17 by 11, but maybe the one I created is not appropriate. Even the second page is not appropriate. So either customer maybe has to change this. So we have a fit to design, that this is what the fit to design, but it doesn't look good. So maybe customer has to go back to the previous step. And we also have a help template if they want to do it. And then for this is, no, I'm fine with this squeezed options. They can also go to the next, but we make sure that customer sees that. Now this has changed processes for a lot of our customers because they do a quick size check. Sometimes people are forgetting that, okay, they have selecting a wrong size and they're uploading the wrong file. And now because of this small error by the customer, it is adding a lot of work because you have to call to the customer, get the correct file, and it like delays the complete production. So this particular feature is also a lot of appreciated. Now, what happens? Sometimes the design process starts from the back end. Now your graphic designers are creating the design. So in our latest solution, we also added the design proofing tool, which was also part of the solutions, but we created a standalone design proofing process. So assume that like OnPrintShop goes in a lot of exhibitions. So we start with the design first. So whenever we select a print vendor, we say, okay, we are creating the brochures and designs. Once the design is ready, you suggest us how many we need. So printer has to do a lot of communication with us in order to get the proof for the brochure, because they are our, because we are their corporate customers. It's not like they have to, means we have to place the order first. So approval is done by some other person, order is done by some other person. For example, Trent would decide like what brochures we need, how many quantities, but then we have some people in graphics who would approve the design before it goes to print. So now at printer's end, if I have to send an approval to any person without an order, I have to just, for example, put their email ID. Doesn't matter if they are a registered customer, I can put any email ID. For example, I have one of the Trend's email and I can upload the file. And what this will do, this will trigger an email to the Trend, and then it will ask for an approval. So assume that maybe I sent a couple of already. So we open maybe one of the link. So assume that the link is sent to the customer and customer gets a very nice email. You can personalize that email also. So this is, for example, the brochure file, which is created by the graphic team from the printer's end, sent to the corporate customers, maybe designer, into his email. Now designer has to maybe check everything. If he suggests that, okay, I need some changes, then there is very easy notation tools, because like we have given them the options, so they can say, oh, here I want this, I want that. And then each and every comment is also noted in this. And then this, because he has requested some notes or changes, it is saying make changes as a new proof. The customer didn't approve it. Now this communication will be back to you guys. Now, if you see, this will go into like awaiting proof with changes, because customer requested some changes. So here now I can see user proof comments. And now I can see, okay, what user has given us. So here, I guess he put some comment that, okay, in this logo, he wants some changes, for example. And in multiple pages, he can do that. Now, this has completely changed a lot of customers' processes where they are sending the file, getting input in email, again, changing it, sending another attachment, getting input from the customer. And sometimes they also end up maybe printing the wrong version because they maybe printed the wrong attachment. And this would, even if you say, okay, now again, I'm uploading the file, and then for example, I do another cycle of it. So system will also trigger another email to the customer, and I can also see like design proofing history. So assume that if I upload the new proof and then send to the customer, it will also maintain the history. So if I do another cycle of it, for example, and then assume that I'm uploading a new file, I'm selecting the new file now because I made some changes on the first file. If I, whatever customer requested, again, visual proof and awaiting. So this will again email to the customer that this is a new version now. So this will again go in awaiting proof approval because I did another cycle what customer request. Now, the best part here, customer also gets an email with the second link, but he would be also able to compare that what was the initial change which I given. So there is a, for example, sometimes they forget, oh, what was my first initial change. So we also have this history. So I can go to the version 1. It shows me, oh, here I had given something, oh, I remember now. So I need to compare with the latest proof. Yes, I guess whatever changes I asked, it is done. And then I approve it. And once they approve, system will trigger an email in the backend that the proofing is approved, and it will come into proof approved. Now you can convert into an order. So now after approval of the design, now you say, okay, now you can maybe call to the Trend, oh, your graphic team have approved it. Please tell me how many you need, what paper, what options, and then you can convert it in an order. Now this has simplified a lot of our customers' design projects, because they cannot start into the system and they still have to email, phone to the customers. Your design is ready. Please check your attachment. Please, even you can do some reminder emails if they have not approved the proof. And then everything is in the record in terms of how many proof you sent. So you have a very nice, easy screens your graphic team can follow. Where it's like, okay, how many proof are sent? So these are the basic processes, for example, would allow you to simplify your artwork proofing and artwork, for example, approval kind of stage as well. And then after that, for example, if you have an order management, then a lot of order management, for example, documentation, which you have to create. So if you are taking a lot of orders via email and phones, And if you're managing everything manually, still you have to create an invoice in the QuickBook. You have to then create a job ticket for your production team. But because you are adding that order into the system or creating the quotes from the system, when they are converted into an order, system will automatically create a lot of things. For example, you can create invoice. So once you set up a format, once the order is converted, system will allow you to create the invoice right away. And this invoice will be also auto emailed to the customer when you say order is shipped. So till the order is not completed or shipped, you can access the invoice, but customer will not get an email, or maybe they'll be able to access an invoice. Similarly, the job ticket is also created. So if you understand, one order entry of 5 minutes have automated a lot of your processes in the backend. Maybe I got an email initially, or I got a phone, but then I made an effort of entering that order. The rest of the activity, getting the file, getting the payment, invoice, job ticket is automated by the system. And then we have a direct connections with the QuickBook. So I also wanted to show you some automation with the QuickBook. So QuickBook Cloud is already connected with this particular system. So QuickBook Cloud allows you to automate your accounting processes. And a lot of this is also like very manual processes, which I am hearing from a lot of our customers that, okay, I get an order by email, phone, still I have to go end of the day, enter in QuickBook and generate a manual invoice to send an invoice to the customer. So even the order is printed, you still have a manual entry. So here we have connected a QuickBook. We can also set up an auto sync, but I'm just selecting, for example, a manual sync to demo. Like this is one of the sandbox, which is already logged in. So from this backend, I can say, click here to sync manually. So I can say, I want to sync all the orders this week. And then I can see there are a couple of 3 orders. I click on sync. So there is one order 494, which is by the, like this Naimish Patel, which is my user. This is another retail OnPrintShop. The value is 187. So keep following. The value is 187. And the another value was, for example, let me open that again. It's already synced very fast. So 2518. Okay, so one order is 187, another is 2518. So this will go into here. So if I, for example, go into again, like how many orders do we have? And it says not paid because, so this is like, see, 204, and then there's another order which we just synced. So this is like a date 412, and then view and edit. So I can see this is an order, and whatever payment terms you have set up for this particular invoice, I also get an email of the customer, all the details, and then ship via shipping method, all the possible information we have collected from the customer icon. And you also have an option to edit certain part, maybe whatever tax it is collected, some inputs within you, for example. And then you can also collect here. From here also you can collect maybe an online payment for customers which are on terms. So QuickBook is the easiest way to connect. And then end of the year, it also automates your taxes and invoicing and a lot of other stuff. So like this is, for example, another order we sync. So this is a very simple connection. So once you set up your order management estimation, all information can also directly go to the QuickBook. So this would automate like majority of your pre-sales kind of activities, which will save like 70% of your time communicating with the customer, starting from giving estimation, artwork approval, simplify design projects to order management. Then there are a lot of production automations we can also enable. Like in OnPrintShop, if you say, okay, we are a decent size commercial printer having maybe 10, 15 people in the production, then we can also create customized order status and the cycle. Like order status cycle is like, assume that you have a lot of stations. So one station is a graphic stations, you have 3 people. So first it starts from graphic, maybe you have a couple of stages, then it goes to maybe pre-press, printing, finishing, then maybe shipping. So you have multiple department also, you can call it. And then you can also create this workflow depending on the product. So assume that I want my products like brochure go into a specific workflow versus when it is a wide format, I may want to take them to a different workflow. So I can also select, for example, product type or product wise default workflow. So automatically those products will go into a set stages. And here, this workflow is also associated with the job ticket and the barcoding system. So when you download the job ticket, it is also having, for example, the barcode within the job ticket. Okay, so if you scan this job ticket, system will, and if your admin panel is open, automatically that job will appear on your screen. So a lot of our customers, what they're doing, they are creating this complete order cycle in the system and then creating the job-wise workflow. So this is a PDF document which I have created just for a sample. So assume that within my print station or within my production, I have a couple of print stations, we call it. So station 1 is pre-press, and they have these 3 stages. Station 2 has print production, and they have like stages. For example, I have 3 printers. So stages are like, once I move to the stage 2, then I can select which printer I want to print. Advanced finishing has maybe a couple of stages like cutting, bindery, and then packaging is another stage. So once you create this, for example, this is a very simple barcode method you can create online that, okay, my stage name is shipped. Online, you can generate a barcode and then put it on your machine, for example, or maybe on your equipments or maybe the computer machines which people are working on. So what happens once you create your customized order status and your product status? First of all, you can create your workflow admin. So workflow admin is like people who are working in the production, they are managing a very specific stage. So either you have a graphic team and then you have 3 people working on the graphic stage, then you can give them a role of a graphic. Then there are printing people, and everybody can only see the very specific stage. If we say, okay, station 1 is graphic, and you only allow them to see 3 stages, like in pre-press, they'll only see the 3 stages orders. So first person job is like, if you get maybe 10 orders a day, 20 orders a day, by default, it goes in order processing or maybe pending. That's the by default state. But I can say, okay, these orders should go to now into the pre-press. So from here, the workflow will start. So the first person job is moving the job to the right stage. Maybe some orders can directly go to printing if everything is fine. And then the workflow will start. So assume that I send 5 orders today into graphic stage and then 2 orders into printing. As soon as I do that, automatically the guys who are assigned that stage will get an email. So if graphic team logs in into the system, because everyone has a user credentials, and then they can also download, for example, the job ticket for a specific order. They can scan that job ticket if you give them the barcode scanning, and then automatically that job will appear here. And we also give them like a very nice Trello kind of view, or for example, we can also say like the office kind of view. Then they can see number of orders, then they can move the order to the next stage. So here also they can scan the job will appear, and then say, oh, my job is done. They can scan the stage to the next stage, maybe proof approved, automatically it'll approve. If you say no, they want to do it manually, they can also select from a manually. So it's not like always everybody has to create a barcode kind of workflow. You can also manage it. So they have an access to access the job, download the files, maybe start working on it. And then once they upload the file for the graphic projects, they can also create, maybe say, okay, proof approved after maybe multiple cycles. And then once they update order to the next stage, then the next stage could be of the printing. So one station start from their one stage to an end stage. And that is how this job board is building up. So we have some trade printers, wholesale printers coming back to us and say like, they're utilizing the same workflow, which I'm showing you. They have created nice order status and product status, and they're managing like 300 orders per day using the same workflow. They have a barcode scanning. So each station, people are getting the printed job ticket, they scan it, job appears, they start working on it. Once the job is done, they can scan it to the station 2. So their job will come out from one department to another department. And then that is how this job board is building up. Here they are able to see that, okay, how many order in processing. And then it is also creating a nice calendar that, okay, how many jobs should go out tomorrow on 6th of December. This is my dummy store. So all the orders are delayed. So it is not moved into the right stage. But if it is delayed, you will see, oh, why it is delayed, why it should be going on 2nd of December and still we are stuck at one particular stage. And then you'll be able to, define these workflows. So very easily, like you can manage 50, 100 orders a day if you're managing this kind of workflow. And a lot of our customers, like one of our customers in India, In India, they are saying like, we don't have like a lot of customers who will order online, but they love this workflow internally as well, because they say like one of our challenges, once we get the orders internally, we don't have any system to track. So they are just entering every order on behalf of customer, and they are just utilizing our internal backend system to automate their orders and to see like where their orders are. So they're managing like hundreds of orders every day just by in the backend, and then they only get like customer gets the invoices, customer get the notification when they have to upload the file. So rest of the activity is done by the customer. So a lot of automation can be done into this particular part as well. And apart from that, now a lot of time customers are saying that, okay, we are not able to print everything in-house. Then we also have a supplier connections like 4over, Promo Standard. So what happens, you can offer this large trade printers products and create a backend flow that it automatically submits a job to 4over. So you can also increase a lot of your products offering that. Then a lot of third-party automation. So if you're a decent sized commercial printer or a wide format printer, we also have an option of automating the whole workflow. Like you do not want to log in into OnPrintShop and manage the workflow, because you might have your own workflow. So you may not want to create order stages and everything into our system and create a barcode and then create a station here. That's fine, no problem. If you already have a nice workflow, we can also connect OnPrintShop to your workflow system. So we can connect, like we can push files to the hot folder by XML. So you directly pick up those files and then push it into your machines. Or we can also set up an API that every order comes, we push it in your workflow. You have all the status and management in your workflow. You start updating that, and we get the status back and update to the customer. So that options we are also doing with the third party. So it's not necessary that you have to change your system. If you're already happy with your workflow, we can connect. If you say, no, we do not have a workflow, then you also have an option to manage into the system. Then there are a lot of post sales automation. So even QuickBook, which I already show you, is like a post sales to generate the invoice. I showed you a live example. Then we also have a good connections with the CRM. So a lot of activity can be automated with the CRM and customer service as well. So one of even like the example which I was showing you, like Foxtrot Printing or Print Charming, they also have a customer services. They track, like, see here they already have a live chat option. And then I can connect to the operator directly from this live chat. Even in OnPrintShop, we have a connection of a live chat. Now, a lot of live chat plugins are also free. So one, it allows me to see like how many people are, for example, browsing our website at this moment. Okay, and you can also connect with your storefront. Like you can connect a live chat. Mostly one users are free. And then we already have a lot of free live chat services. You can connect to them. And here I can actually see how many visitors or how many people are active on my website and which page they are browsing. And if I like this particular, because he's from Ontario, Canada, I want to talk to him, I can also start a proactive chat. And so this is actually showing me that, okay, which page he has visited and now which particular page he is on. I can also start a very nice personalized experience. So this live chat would also allow you to see that at a time, if you're doing marketing, what kind of customers or what kind of, for example, users are on your page. So live chat connection is a very important thing. Plus, if you want to do a very, for example, personalized customer relationship, then we can also connect with third-party CRM like Plant Profit or, for example, Zoho or HubSpot. And then there are also a lot of reports. Like I can generate a report in the system saying that, okay, how many customers have placed order above certain amount. Now those, for example, last year, how many customers placed order more than $100? And I can keep creating different groups and I can submit to the CRM. Or even we have a connections with like MailChimp marketing automation, for example. And then this group can be created into this marketing automations and you have a nice email chain going on from your marketing automation. So for example, every month, we can generate a report that, okay, how many new customers signed up on your site? And here is like a nice email chain to welcoming those customers. In the same group, we can send, for example, how many customers have abandoned the cart? How many customers have not ordered in last 3 months? And you have different email chain going on from the customer. So from very small automations, from simple estimations to artwork, it can be even like a complete turnaround end-to-end automation way as well. And then we have like a lot of different success stories people have implemented. They are also online. You can visit that and certain example, which I had also shown you. And then this was a very simple, like a workflow for a lot of B2C printers. But at the same time, if you're a large commercial printer, you have a lot of B2B customers, then there is also private stores and a lot of other stuff we can do with an on-print shop, offering like a lot of extensive product segment, online designing. Online designing, we haven't gone into it because we wanted to showcase like very basic automation processes. Online design is the next step where people appreciate that, okay, you have an automated, you can start offering online design option, for example. So these are like some readily integrations which we also published on the webinar. But then any specific part which you want to hear or you want to understand from us, you can also connect to us in person. And then what we can do is like understand more about your current process and show you some specific thing as well. Because workflow automation, there are a lot of aspects. As Trent was also explaining, it's not necessary that one printer have implemented a specific workflow you also have to copy that. We have to understand your current processes, your key clients ordering process, and then create maybe customize in terms of what can be automated out of those processes. What do you think, Trent, on this? For example, like how do you feel like workflow automation?
Again, it's all about taking 10 steps, bringing it down to 8, bringing it down to 6, bringing it down to 5 or 4. So it's taking things where you find your bottlenecks today and do exactly what you're talking about. Get with consistent pricing, get with consistent order entry, get with consistent workflow from a proof standpoint, from an approval standpoint, and then into your workflow process, whether that is through OnPrintShop with a status workflow, or if it's passing the information over into your MIS, so that there is less manual touches as we walk along the process. I totally agree with you.
It's good. And we are also like, I guess, opening up for the Q&A. If you have
Q&A, I see some questions that are in there. So let's just talk to the proving. Let's start the top for the proving process. Is it possible to assign approved artwork to an existing order? If we're going from what Nimish was showing you from without an order, without anything, no, you already tell it what type of product this is for a business card. It's going to carry along into that product, and then you can take it and put it into that order. And I think we already have one answer.
So I guess very good question. What I'm understanding, they're asking that order is already exist, and you want to assign the design proof. But in that case, what happens? You would not start from. I'll just share my screen again.
Mm-hmm.
So in that case, you would not start with the design proofing tool, because design proofing tool is normally for the external projects where you already have an order. So you already have an active order, and then you want to maybe do some kind of file approval. Then here also you can associate files. And then with this order, you can say ask for approval. And this will go to, for example, for the person who has ordered, and then it will be asked for design proofing. So design proofing standalone system which we have designed is for taking care of maybe design projects where you still not have an order. If you already have an order, you can still go to that order, one specific item, click on the file icon, and use that design proofing workflow.
So in short, yes. And then we can show you how that plays out.
And
question.
Let me also raise. Yeah.
Well, go ahead.
Or you have another question?
That's right. We have a couple of other questions for you. And I do see the question on what third-party software would you recommend for inventory? What is the best in combination with OnPrintShop? If you'll put in there.
Already has a nice inventory.
Who?
OnPrintShop is already having a nice inventory. If it is
yes, we've got great finished goods, but there's a couple, and I think it's kind of depending on what you're looking for. If you'll let us know, this is just attendee. If you'll let us know who you are, we'll be more than happy to drop that back out to you, and then we could even relate that back out to everyone as well. So we have a couple of final questions for everyone before we drop off.
Yeah,
and if you want to go ahead and launch those, we're curious. Are you, if this is something you're kind of looking at, are you planning to adopt or even to upgrade with what you're doing? We're just kind of curious at what your timeline is. Is this something you're, right in 2026, hey, this is where we got to start. We're looking to do a refresh, or we're really exploring and we want to kind of, run through that. And then the second question is going to be more for us. This is for Nimish and I. We are moving into 2026, so we're starting to plan out the what will benefit you. What challenges and opportunities do you think we should address in our future webinars? Want to talk technology? Want to talk workflow? Want to talk growth? Or is there something in there? Please leave us a response, because we can come up with topics all day long. Our marketing team is wonderful at that, but we want to know what you are interested in so we can start to tailor. Would you like us to bring in some of our integration partners and talk about how we work together in our
Yeah.
workflow? Talk about a front to back. So yeah, we would love to know from you. So if you would submit those responses. Let's see.
Absolutely.
Got a couple of other
Even see
questions.
everyone like attending the webinar is also welcome to connect to us. Again, it's not like that, okay, if you connect to us, then you have to maybe get into a conversation of a sales or maybe buying on OnPrintShop. It's not that. It's about like understanding each other. We might be able to understand what your current processes are, and then maybe we might be able to help you in terms of how it can be automated, whether it is your maybe most immediate goal, or after 6 months still like what is available in the market whenever you make the decision of automating the processes. But of course, as we've seen like the interesting trends from the NAPCO breakfast slides, which was in Printing United, that print companies, your competitors, your peers, your network people are thinking of improving the productivity, improving the workflow. And there are a lot of PCs improving the workflow as we discussed, but then you can also start with small. If you really think that, okay, from day one, you need to automate all the each and every processes, no, you have to just take one step at a time, and then we can understand which are the particular processes taking majority of time. Like we did that survey. So some people are only feeling that, okay, the initial estimation to artwork, they are taking the majority, and then we can automate that process. And then maybe later part can be taken in the later phases. So one phase at a time, and then you can think of a complete automated workflow within few months.
Perfect. All right. Well,
That's
we
it.
will get, if you'll leave us again, we'll leave us who you are. We'll answer the questions that we didn't quite get to. I know we're a little over the top of the hour, so
Yeah.
we want to give everybody the rest of their day back. Thank you for joining us on a wonderful Thursday. If you have any more questions, please reach out to us. We will capture all of that and be able to respond back to you. We look forward to working with you in 2026.
Thank you.